People get used to living in back apartments and not having a view other than the surrounding windows. And, because he has no view, he soon gets used to not looking out. And because he doesn't look out, he soon gets used to not opening the curtains at all. And, because he doesn't open the curtains, he soon gets used to turning on the light earlier. And as you get used to it, you forget the sun, forget the air, forget the spaciousness. We get used to waking up in the morning with a start because it's time. Rushing to breakfast because he's late. Reading the newspaper on the bus because you can't waste the travel time. Eating a sandwich because you can't have lunch. Leaving work because it's night already. Napping on the bus because he's tired. To go to bed early and sleep heavily without having lived through the day. People get used to opening the newspaper and reading about the war. And, accepting war, accept the dead and let there be numbers for the dead. And, accepting the numbers, accepts not believing in the peace negotiations. And, not believing in peace negotiations, he accepts to read every day of the war, the numbers, the long duration. We get used to waiting all day and listening on the phone, I can't go today. Smiling at people without getting a smile back. To be ignored when he so needed to be seen. We get used to paying for everything we want and need. And fighting to earn the money with which to pay. And earning less than you need. And lining up to pay. And to pay more than things are worth. And to know that you pay more and more. And to look for more work, to earn more money, to have to pay in the queues where you get paid. We get used to walking on the street and seeing posters. Opening magazines and seeing advertisements. Turning on the television and watching commercials. Going to the movies and swallowing advertising. To be instigated, driven, bewildered, thrown into the endless cataract of products. We get used to pollution. To closed rooms with air conditioning and cigarette smell. In artificial light with a slight tremor. The shock the eyes get in natural light. Bacteria from drinking water. Contamination of seawater. To the slow death of rivers. He gets used to not hearing birds, not having a rooster at dawn, fearing the hydrophobia of dogs, not picking fruit on his feet, not even having a plant. We get used to too many things, not to suffer. In small doses, trying not to notice, it moves away a pain here, a resentment there, a revolt there. If the theater is full, we sit in the front row and wrinkle our necks a little. If the beach is contaminated, we only wet our feet and sweat on the rest of our bodies. If work is hard, we console ourselves by thinking about the weekend. And if on the weekend there's not much to do, we go to bed early and still be satisfied because we're always late. We get used to not grating on the roughness, to preserve the skin. He gets used to avoiding wounds, bleeding, to dodge knife and bayonet, to spare his chest. We get used to saving our lives. That it wears out little by little, and that, after getting used to it, it loses itself.